Hey guys, so today I wanted to talk about water ITC. Now for those of you who don't know what that is, basically spirits are supposed to be able to manipulate noise, whether that's audio noise in an EVP or a spirit box, or visual noise, like the kind of black and white fuzz you get on an analog TV when it's out of tune. You know, like poltergeist style black and white fuzz. And spirits are supposed to be able to show themselves through that the same way they can speak through audio white noise. And the same principle applies to water ITC. Basically you get a metallic basin, something reflective, fill it with water, stick a light on it and film it while you shake the basin around, thus creating visual noise. And it's supposed to be that spirits can either manipulate the refractions or the reproduction of said refractions on the camera's video recording and show themselves through it. Or it's even argued that the water itself is just acting as a reflective mirror and you're just seeing the spirit in the room. So it piqued my interest, and I'm not going to lie, I don't put a great deal of stock in it. I think there is such thing as Pareidolia, which is your mind seeing patterns and familiar patterns, and thus you see what you want to see. It's the reason we see like faces in our toast or in the clouds and stuff. You see like points that could be eyes and a nose, and your mind kind of makes up the rest. But I've seen some really good images as well. I've seen some really creepy images out of water ITC, so I definitely think it's worth a go. I don't completely write it off. It's just I'm more on the side of Pareidolia on this one. Now, I have given it a go. I've tried it, and these are my results. Now, a couple of points about these results. The first one is all the images that you just saw jumped out at me straight away. As I was going through frame by frame, these faces just jumped at me, these silhouettes and stuff. Like, they were just immediately clear to me. I didn't have to boost the contrast. I didn't have to turn it negative to make these things appear. Like, they were just there. Because I believe, personally, if you're reviewing something and you have to enhance it to a stupid degree to make things jump out at you, then they probably weren't there to begin with. You're enhancing it to make things appear. Like, if they're not immediately clear, then I'm not willing to call it paranormal. Now, the second thing is, and I can guarantee this, is there will be hundreds of you out there that watch this video and didn't see any of them. Some of you might have seen a few of them, but for the most part, it'll be hit and miss. Like, these appeared to me straight away, but I guarantee some of you have to go back and you really sort of focusing in on them to make what I'm seeing jump out at you. I know that because when I showed Shauna, there were a few of them, I just have no idea what you're looking at, and I had to really go in and point out the eyes and the nose. And for that reason alone, I'm going to stay on the fence and lean towards the Pareidolia side of things. I'm not willing to 100% throw in. I don't write it off because there were a few in there that I thought were interesting and could be paranormal. If I was to pick a few, I'd say that there's 3 or 4 images in here that I would say were paranormal. If I had to pick some. Personally, I wouldn't put any of them forward as evidence. I just think it's an interesting experiment. Now, there's a man in a white shirt, black tie, and a black jacket, and he appears in 2 points of the 30 seconds I was reviewing. Once at the top, reflecting the orange lights above, and once at the bottom left, reflecting the white LED panel. And the fact that he appears in both those places is what makes it interesting to me, because you could argue that the curvature of the basin is what caused that one in the bottom left that's reflecting the white light. But the fact that it appears at the top in a completely different shape, like the curves are all going a separate way on the basin, and then it's reflecting the orange light to create a similar image is pretty interesting. The second one is the water droplet that kind of like bounces up and out. The fact that that appears in the shape of the top half of a person, like you can see the head and the shoulders, and then where the head is, there is an actual face made up of the refractions of the light. Now, it could be a complete coincidence, but I think that was interesting. But it's the last one that, if I had to really narrow it down and go, pick one image that you would say is paranormal, it would be this one. And it's because of the shape it takes is so relevant to things I've caught in the past. And that is the one that's in the bottom left-hand corner. It's the silhouette of a woman in a wide-brimmed hat and a puffed-out dress. Now, obviously, the significance of this is the last time I did a visual ITC experiment using the little 6-inch analog TV, I caught the same image, but it was a woman on her side, like with a puffed-out dress and a wide-brimmed hat. And that was something that I've seen in my mind's eye when communicating with Anna. And it was very much something that I put down to being her showing herself during the experiment. So the fact that this same shape has appeared during the water ITC experiment is interesting. Like, I can't say for sure that it's paranormal because of the way I lean towards pareidolia, but if I was to pick one and say for definite, I would have to pick that one if I was to put any forward. So my question is, what do you guys think about water ITC? I've told you how I feel about it. I'm very much a fence sitter, as always, but I think it's interesting. And I think even if you don't believe in the paranormal side, I'd say give it a go, because it's quite interesting, some of the shapes and patterns that you get. And you could really spook yourself out, even if you weren't in a haunted place, with some of the things that you can catch. So give it a go, guys. Let me know what you think. And as always, I'll post any and all activity as and when I get it.